I'm Alexis, aka the Sloth Reader, and I'm here today to tell you guys all about my goals for the year 2019. So I know I haven't posted a video in like 2 weeks, but I'm actually planning to post a video every day this week. So I feel like that kind of makes up for it. Also, it's like the end of the year and I just couldn't figure out like the best way to schedule everything, so I just said, you know what? I have a couple of days off for the holiday season, let's just film a whole bunch of videos, and so that is what I have done. So, today is the first of 5 videos you're going to get this week, so make sure you don't miss any if you're interested in any of my year-end, beginning of the year video type stuff. I actually only have 5 goals for myself as far as reading goes in the year 2019. Every year I feel like I push myself to do things that are really unachievable, and then halfway through the year I forget about them because they're not totally like quantifiable goals. You know, they're not like, oh, we'll do this many number of things. So I tried to stick to only doing goals that like had numbers in them so I could like keep track of them in my head. And yeah, I never really do great at goals for the entire year for some reason, but I really hope this year I manage to do all the goals I've set for myself because I'm actually really excited about them. So yeah, let's just get into the goals. So obviously goal number 1 is what my Goodreads goal for the year is going to be, and my Goodreads goal for the year is going to be 100 books. As of filming this video, it's December 30th, and I have read 110 books in 2018. My goal for the year was 75, so I well exceeded that. 100 books has actually been my like secret goal for the last 2 years. I've set it I think at like 65 and 75 in 2017 and 2018 respectively, but 100 books has always really been like my goal in my heart, and I came very close in 2017. In 2017 I read 97 books, and in 2018 I have surpassed that goal. So I'd really like to kind of keep that going in 2019 and really just push myself to read more than 100 books like I did this year. So I'm gonna set my Goodreads goal as 100 books, which is honestly very crazy to me considering 3-4 years ago I wasn't even reading at the time because I was so heavily depressed. Like, if you would have told first year college me that I would read 100 books in the year 2018, I probably would have called you crazy. So I'm also just really proud of myself for doing that, for getting back into my love of reading, and for, you know, for pushing myself to go beyond what I could have read so many years ago. So yeah, so 100 books is going to be my Goodreads goal for the year 2019. The next goal I actually have is one that I did set for myself in 2018, and that is that I want to reread 5 books in 2019. So I actually, spoiler alert for my 2018 review video, but I actually didn't reread 5 books in 2018. I reread 4 books, but I loved doing that. And I don't naturally reread books, so I like to set the goal for myself so that I allow myself the opportunity to reread books, because it's like, hey, you already set yourself this goal, so, you know, don't worry about not rereading books. And there's so many books that I still really want to reread. I really want to reread The Raven Cycle, I really want to reread the Land of Elion books by Patrick Carman, and there's just so many things I want to reread, so I want to give myself the opportunity to reread 5 more things in 2019. Again, this isn't necessarily 5 series, it's just 5 books. So actually, if you count the number of books I reread, I did reread 5 books, but 2 of them were from the same series, so I guess that kind of counts. Considering I didn't have to reread them, but I did. So, you know, we'll say that's a success. And hopefully I'll reread 5 books in 2018 as well. My next goal that I'm setting for myself is that in the year 2019, I want to read 12 middle grade books. So it's no surprise that in the last 2 years, I've read a lot of Rick Riordan. Pretty much every month, I think, in the last 2 years, I've had Rick Riordan books on my TBR, and or I've read 1 or 2 Rick Riordan books. And so I really want to extend that newfound love for middle grade into making sure I'm reading other middle grade books that I have on my shelves. You know, I have the Rick Riordan Presents ones that are still in the same vein as like the Percy Jackson and stuff, but I also have a lot of other really well-loved middle grade books like Nevermore and the Tales of Wanla series that I really want to get to, and there's just so much good middle grade always being published, and so again I wanted to kind of give myself the goal of reading them and just making sure that like once a month I'm picking up a middle grade and enjoying them, because honestly they're just a lot of fun, and I feel like there's never going to be a time in my life when I can't use just a little bit of fun. So That's my next goal. The next one that I've chosen for myself is probably the most weirdly personal goal on this list, and that is that in 2019 I want to make sure I read at least 10 graphic novels or manga. And honestly, that's because I feel like in 2018 I read quite a bit of manga, and I haven't read manga in a very long time. When I was younger, I used to easily read probably 300 volumes of manga in a year. I haven't done that in a very long time, and I think the reason I haven't done that is because I get so obsessed with the number of books I have on my shelves and the number of books I'm buying, and what I'm intaking and what my Goodreads challenge looks like and everything like that. And so I don't want to do that anymore, because the honest truth is I love reading graphic novels and manga, and I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, and some people are wrongly in the opinion that that doesn't count as reading. Sorry, but you're wrong. And I want to make sure that I'm giving myself a chance to do something I really love in 2019, which is reading graphic novels and manga. So at least 10 of them in the year 2019, which I think is very doable. I probably read 8 or 9 in 2018, but I want to make sure I'm doing it without the weird guilt attached to it. And finally, the only challenge that I think might be difficult for me, and that is that I want to read 5 books outside of my comfort zone in 2019. And, that's a little bit up to interpretation for me as far as what's out of my comfort zone. Definitely I want to make sure I'm reading a couple of romance books this year, a couple of women's fiction, a couple of, new adult. I also want to make sure that I'm picking up nonfiction, which is definitely something that I am very picky about. I never reach for nonfiction. And so basically that's the reason I wanted to do this, is because especially in 2018 there were so many books in these different categories that people were talking about that I really wanted to read. They sounded so interesting for me. A great example of that is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong. I would probably never pick this up if it weren't for the glowing recommendations from all of my friends, because I just don't really read romance books. It's not my genre. But everybody loved this book so much, and I feel like I'm still hesitating to pick it up because it's not something I naturally reach for in being a romance book. So in 2019, I want to give myself the challenge of reading things like this, reading things that I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards, as a push for myself to read them, because again, all of my friends loved The Kiss Quotient particularly. I don't think I know a single person who I follow who didn't give it 4 or 5 stars. And I'm really excited about the representation in it, and it's the fake dating trope, which is my thing, but even so, I still never picked it up. And so, all of that being said, I want to task myself with reading things outside of my comfort zone at 5 things. Just 5 things outside of my comfort zone in 2019. And in the grand scheme of 100 books, 5 books is nothing. So I really think I can do it. Hopefully. I really hope I can do it, because 5 books is nothing, and I just really want to allow myself the opportunity to pick up these things that, I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards. I guess that's maybe the year of 2019, is letting myself do things that I wouldn't normally do otherwise by setting ridiculous goals for myself. That's it. That's the theme of 2019 for me, I guess. Alrighty guys, so those are actually all of the goals I've set for myself in 2019. I know this was kind of a really chatty video, but that's kind of how I wanted it to be anyway, because, I set goals for myself, but I'm not super strict on goals for myself, because goals are, for me, with reading, are supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to be stressful. So hopefully when I look back at 2019 at the end of it, hopefully I'll have achieved all of these things. I've never successfully completed all of my goals in any year, so we'll see, but maybe 2019 is going to be the one. So if you guys set any 2019 goals for yourself, I'd love to know them down below, and I'll see you guys soon with another video.